I do consider me being trans a mental illness.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I do.
Of course it is. Everything is. I have DID, dissociative identity disorder.
It's similar.
I was saying when I was 7, I thought I was a boy. F it. I didn't think I was a boy. I was a boy. Part of me was. And had they been offering all this brainwashing horseshit that they're doing now, I would have signed up.
Yeah.
Not told my parents and went out there and got my arm amputated and made into a fake wiener.
And you wouldn't have Jake.
It would never work, and I'd never have an orgasm, you know, and I never would have
Which
my
isn't
5
much different
kids.
than now.
Yeah, it's no different than now, but there was a world of joy in between.
Right.
At least you tried.
Well, you know, that's...
See, I don't want to take that estrogen because they said it'll bring back my libido.
Hold on, before we go there, I just want to say
I found the pen.
Nice.
I love you.
I found the pen. There you go.
Transgenderism being a mental disorder is something that needs to be talked about, because one of my favorite videos you ever did was when you talked about it and you cited the DSM.
Oh, yeah, which you can't now because they took it out.
I know, but at the time you had cited it, and that you were just saying, look, by the DSM standards, which is, everyone knows what that is, right? Mom? You all right?
The Diagnostic Statistical Manual
of course.
Yeah. So she just did a video saying, by definition, it is a mental disorder, and she was almost canceled over that.
Right. Well, gender dysphoria, at least. Right. I guess the word trans
Gender
now can mean fucking anything, but gender dysphoria itself, if we're going to say that, which we do say, which guess what's still in the DSM?
What?
Social anxiety, which everyone fucking has at some point to some level.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I have anorexia dyslexia. I never think I'm fat enough.
You're skinny and you can't read? Same.
But how does that...
Trying to get skinnier and read less, actually.
When it says it's a mental disorder, this is one of the favorite points you've ever made. I just want to say it.
I love mental
It's
disorder
not a negative
people.
connotation, right, Blaire? Like, it's just a designation.
It is what it is.
Stupid.
Because, again, I don't look at people with social anxiety and think that they're a bad person, that they're a necessarily, like, fucking insane person. Right. Because at the end of the day... Like the people who claim to want to destigmatize all the shit.
Well, it's on a what do you call it, spectrum.
It's on it. There's levels to all of it.
Because some of them will just stand there rubbing their crotch in the street all day.
Yeah.
Right, but see, that is like that's called autogynephilia. That's a fetish, and that's probably a mental disorder as well.
Definitely a mental disorder.
Right,
but it's hot as fuck. Right?
No.
But that's another interesting thing that a lot of people, if they got money, then yeah. People don't really understand that because from the outside looking in, I know that a lot of this stuff kind of blends in together. But there are people who are, trans, quote unquote, for sexual purposes.
I know. That was the sad thing. I remember back in the day when I was alive. And, it was like all the people that were trans were getting into, not all of them, but I mean a lot of them that I knew, they were talking about how great being being in prostitution, and that was like the whole prostitution thing is such a deep, dark rabbit hole to go down in. Of course, I did go down it.
Yeah.
And there's so many lies told about it, especially now. It's being so mainstreamed. It's being so normalized. And it's like, wow, because that's true. Sex work is very common in the trans woman world. And it's not even necessarily because they are autogynephiles, because those are attracted to women. And those are the ones that are in bathrooms showing their fucking cocks. But the trans women, a lot of them get into sex work because they feel like that's the only thing they can do. And at a certain point, maybe that was true. Now Starbucks will hire you if you're fucking trans. But at one point, that was how they made money. And for them, so I've known a lot of them who do that. And all of them are damaged from it. And this is the case with, female. I've known a few female escorts in my life as well. And you endure so much trauma from decoupling sex from emotion, because this is another thing that we were kind of talking about. This is something I learned because taking estrogen has really changed my brain chemistry. I completely associate sex and physical intimacy with emotion, love, a spiritual connection almost with a man.
So gay.
And so the idea of decoupling that and just treating it as this is a massage or this is, just a physical act that has no emotion behind it, you have to like shut a part of your brain off to do that. And then they also start hating men, which, there are reasons to hate men, but they start fearing them in a way that's even more extreme than just the average woman's distrust of men.
I got a joke I used to tell.
Tell me.
Oh, they always say the lesbians hate the men. How could that be? They don't have to fuck them.
They don't have to deal with them. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big thing for me, is over the years transitioning is just like, it's really changed the way I view men, even more so than the way it's changed the way I view myself and women. And, it's men, and understanding like their behavior from the other point of view, where now the estrogen is my predominant hormone. It's like actually wild.
Can I ask you about that? Hold on.
I've taken the testosterone, as I said, and so now I'm like kind of a man.
You're experiencing it, but
I am, but I'm saying like I have a lot more empathy and respect for women than I ever did.
I get more every year.
That's the mind blower.
Every year I gain more of an empathy for women, and it's not in like a, fucking libbed out feminist kind of way. It's more so just like every year that I'm kind of deeper in my transition, even though I'll never understand what it is to be a biological woman, and there are many aspects of that I'll never understand: pregnancy, periods, and so much more.
Nothing.
Not being able to parallel park.
I can't parallel park, but
I can on a dime. Jake keeps forgetting that I do a 2-point parallel.
Do I need to bring up the tractor bucket and the faucet today that you broke and getting lost with my daughter before you start talking about it?
I'm talking about the days back when I was alive.
You can park. You can't drive, but you can park. Blaire, can I just ask you about that when you talk about your distrust in men? Because I find this fascinating.
Well, disgust is a strong word, but it's strong distrust.
I said distrust.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said disgust. I mean, sometimes disgust.
Well, we hear what we want to hear, Blaire.
Right.
No, but I find it interesting. So you started your transition 9 years ago. What age were you?
20.
So you were or you were identifying as a man till 20? Or you were...
Well, I find that whole language, like identifying as, kind of like new. It's like I was a boy. And
you were a boy.
You just were like okay with it, or...
Okay
No, hold on.
Oh, no.
What I want to ask
Shut up, you don't know.
This is important. You were a man until you were 20.
Yes.
And now you've been transitioning. Now you have distrust for men. Did you have a distrust for men before you were 20?
No.
Okay, so you think it's the estrogen?
Absolutely. Just because it's...
It's a good question. You got to let me talk.
Oh, I didn't get that's where you were going.
Yeah. I mean,
my estrogen was missing.
Part of it is like obviously the physical changes that I've undergone, and so my interactions with men are going to be different based on that. And so just kind of seeing how those interactions did change and what they transformed into has kind of made me like, oh,
wait, this is fascinating. Okay, I think I know what you're saying. This is akin to kind of you becoming famous. Are you saying that people, once you became a female and attractive, that men were treating you different?
Oh, yeah.
And that's what freaked you out.
That's where I want to go next.
No, that's what we should talk about, because you, like, I remember, this is just my thing, because you're the famous one, but I was in school, I used to get my ass kicked every day because I was a fat little chubby Jewish kid with, like, page boy haircut, and right when Roseanne went #1, the kids that would kick my ass every day were putting their arms around me and inviting me to party. I didn't do shit. I was still the same weird fuck that should have been bullied, to be honest. And no, for real. And it fractured me that day. I was like, people see me different by these external forces, and they're treating me completely different. It makes you not trust people at all in that split second. Is that what happened?
Absolutely. You start seeing how, I went through a lot of bullying as well. And so I went from every dude is a threat to beating my ass in a homophobic type of way to every dude is a threat because like there's so much sexual tension that I did not initiate. And when you don't initiate it at all and you don't want to engage in it at all, it's very disgusting. It's vile.
Oh, no shit.
And also,
I can't even tell you.
No, let's talk about it.
It makes you sick.
No one ever wanted to fuck me, but they still tried. Check that out. Bet you've never lived a day like that.
Well, it's weird too because also, because I do come from living, you know, a portion of my life with testosterone as my main drug, I also remember what it's like to have that like male libido.
Right.
And it's like knowing that
must disgust you when you see it coming at you.
But that's what I want to ask. But
how come guys don't even fucking know how disgusting they appear to women?
We do. I'll answer that for you. We totally know. We just don't give a fuck. Do you remember?
I think that's true. I think that's true.
No, 100% true.
I think that's true.
I'm the man on the panel that I'm still taking testosterone naturally. But let me ask you. Well,
I'm a bigger man than both of you bitches.
Well, you're bigger. No, but
she's skinny and she can't read. Okay,
no, I know. But you had you went through puberty with testosterone. So I'm
right.
So you remember what it's like. So
yeah, it's
this
crazy.
Is the question I want to ask, and then I'll stop talking.
Nuts, no pun.
When you say you distrust men, you know how lecherous they are. You were a man going through puberty with testosterone pumping through. You probably got boners, the whole deal. And you must remember,
right?
How'd you hide your boner?
No, hold on. How do you not feel like some sort of empathy to men?
Oh no, I do.
Okay.
I'm not void of empathy. I actually started my channel.
Sorry for him.
Of course,
I actually do.
She's trying to save him from going straight to hell, like I'm trying to do with the Jews.
Well, I don't know how we were talking about.
I'm trying to save all these motherfuckers from going to hell.
But were you lecherous as a 13-year-old?
Was I what?
Like, were you horny as a 15-year-old?
Oh, for sure. Like anyone through puberty, but you know, or any boy through puberty, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that I lack empathy for men, because I actually have a lot. I actually started my channel making videos about men's issues, like the male suicide rate and all that. That's actually how I got my start.
Because you love men.
I love men at the same time. That's the thing. There's the duality to it. It's like I actually get along with men when they're good men way better than women in a lot of ways.
That's what I was going to say, because you was talking about how men change when you change.
Right.
But I one time I lost 120 pounds, and I talked to a friend of mine who'd lost 150. And here's what she said to me. Nobody, I was prepared for how the men would be, how they would be different to me. Because, before it was, they acted like at least they laughed at your jokes when you were fat. I don't know if they respected you more or less, but at least they laughed at your jokes. But then when you were skinny, they didn't laugh at your jokes, but they kept on trying to have sex with you.
But wait, you were saying how women were different.
But she goes, but I expected all that. But nobody prepared me for the women.
Right. Let's talk about that.
And I said, oh, shit, you are so right. Because the women are just fucking nothing but witches. Dirty, so dirty hoes and witches. Right. They can't find their way to what I call the sanctity of the bitch. You see, the bitch is the one who gets things done.